YouTube, welcome back to the channel. You are watching Gunplay TV, and today, as we can see on the table, we've got yet another Olight. This time it's the PL-3 R Valkyrie. All right, and so we've seen plenty of Olights on the channel. I'm sure that you all are at least loosely familiar with the brand, and so we're gonna try to speed through this, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So without any further ado, if you have not already, go ahead and pause the video now, scroll down, take a look for that subscribe button, and once you found it, go ahead and give that a click for me. I do appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Reach for the sky.
All right, guys, so as I said, the Olight PL-3 R Valkyrie, I have to imagine that the R in this case is for rechargeable, right? We've seen the PL-3 previously with the removable CR123 batteries. Now they've got the proprietary Olight magnetic charging. Some people like that. I'm a fan of the batteries, but we'll see what we got inside the box. Real quick, on the front, we can see a max output of 1500 lumens and a max throw of 205 meters. Not bad numbers, but as we know, with Olight, as the light in the battery heats up, that output, of course, will begin to step down. So we'll see how that performance does. Of course, inside you've got your user manual and whatnot. We're not gonna use that. I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this unboxing also because I'm actually headed to the range. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a pistol and we'll get some reps in here momentarily. Inside the plastic, of course, the PL-3 R Valkyrie. I've got to tell you right off the bat, having just taken this out of the box, the finish is much improved now. Olight reached out to me previously. They asked me, hey, what would you have us do? What can we do to innovate and what have you? I told them one thing I did not like is the glossy finish that they used to apply to these. I told them to try to do something that's a little bit more muted, a little bit more matte. And that's what we got here. Actually, I'll grab one of the other Olights and try to roll in some video of that. But the finish is night and day. I'm a big fan of that. Now, of course, the magnetic charger, we've all come to know and love that. In fact, I think some holster manufacturers have adopted this and you can actually charge it right through the Kydex. They've got a slot to accommodate that magnetic charging pad. That's pretty cool. All right, guys, and so a quick tour around the light before I take this out, put it on the pistol and run it at the range. Of course, with Olight, you get the clicky tail switches. These aren't gummy, they're not soft. There's no switch or flipping action to this. You simply push once for constant on, press and hold for momentary, press and hold both buttons for the strobe. Now this light will have the ability to toggle between modes. Now, typically when you press once and release, you're gonna get that constant on. You can turn that off if you like, simply by holding both these buttons for several seconds and you'll be able to switch between those modes. It's not something that I typically turn off, but if you want momentary only, there's that. Now, one thing that I will point out that Olight has changed and enhanced over the years is this adjustable mounting platform. Now, typically you get the Glock Picatinny lug or you get the standard 1913 rail lug. Of course, that provides a bit of modularity and you can swap that out as needed. However, if your firearm, for whatever reason, does not accommodate the light due to the placement of the trigger guard or where those rails line up with the overall platform, you can, with this particular Olight, adjust that just a bit, right? And so you'll see that we've got several positions. Currently on position 2. If I press and hold this, I can actually slide the position of that Picatinny lug to accommodate different size pistols and different placements. Now that's not something that you typically would find on other lights, so certainly some innovation to be credited to Olight there. Again, certainly very innovative from Olight with that particular mounting platform. Now, again, that's not something that maybe everybody would value, but I will say, having just picked up an X Macro P365, this is probably the only light that I think, at least it comes in a full-size variety, that will fit on this particular platform, simply because while you do have a standard 1913 rail on this particular gun, it is a little shallow as far as the placement. Now, because I have that ability to simply adjust the placement of that lug, I can slide that back and I just barely can get that on the pistol, right? Now, that's not perfect, as we can see, right? There's a lot of overhang out front, and maybe you like that, but if you're looking for a full-size weapon-mounted light for a micro-compact, subcompact firearm akin to the P365X Macro or XL or what have you, this is probably the only option that you got. Now, we did quickly see there, I'll probably have to blur this out for YouTube, but simple on and off by pressing this button. It's a simple spring operation. And when you're ready to tighten it down, it's got a screw mount, which I do prefer. You can always use a screwdriver, a coin, a hex key if you want to, but it's nice to be able to toggle this and use your hands if you don't have any tools in the field. So let that say what it will. Again, Certainly a decent light. I like it from the outside looking in. We'll see how it performs on a firearm. We're gonna be running it on the X Macro today. And I'll get back to you guys with my thoughts. Stand by. All right, guys, and so we are back from the range. I did get a few rounds through or over. This particular light on the P365 X Macro had absolutely no issues with the mount or the light output. Of course, we can see that it's still functional. Now with these Olights, right, over time we've seen that they are more or less reliable, right? There are of course going to be examples out there where the batteries have failed sometimes, albeit in a spectacular fashion. But here in 2023, I think that Olight has ironed out a large amount of those particular issues. Now, is this going to replace your Streamlight or your Surefire? Of course, that's going to be up to user selection. For me, I am still a huge fan of Surefire. I'm gonna be dabbling into Streamlights here in the near future. But as always, right, Olight's main claim to fame is the value proposition, right? With 1500 max lumen output, you've got a 2-year warranty. Of course, that's probably gonna be limited by whatever terms Olight deems fit. But all in all, right, it is going to be hard to beat this for the price, especially with the dual tail switch operation, the ability to have a strobe. Some lights are actually doing away with these type of features. So all in all, again, the PL-3 Valkyrie R. This is going to be the rechargeable version. I've had zero issues with this thing. I'm going to go ahead and slap it on the charger here after this video, and I'll find a home for it on one of my range pistols and see if I can beat it into submission over time. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Again, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and if you'd be so kind, go ahead and leave a comment as well, because it really does help to feed the algorithm. With all that being said, I'm gone.